Today we're going to be showing you how to install your TREX 6-inch HD A-arm lift kit for the Yamaha Drive G29. This kit fits both gas and electric models. Before installation, please engage your parking brake and put wheel chocks on your rear tires. If your cart's electric, be sure to switch it to tow. Step 1 is to remove the front bumper. Prior to doing so, you're going to want to make sure you break your lug nuts loose, jack the cart up, and place the jack stands under the frame. To remove the bumper, reach around and remove the 4 10mm bolts. For step 2, you'll loosen your lug nuts the rest of the way. Remove the wheels, dust cover, cotter pins, and hubs. Retain your factory hardware for reinstallation. Step 3 is to disconnect your steering linkage. Using a 17mm socket, remove this castle nut, the cotter pin, which we have already done, and be sure to retain your hardware. An 11/16 wrench will help hold your ball joint in place. Now you can separate your ball joint from your spindle and retain your hardware. Step 4 is to remove your bolts from your control arm assembly. You'll do this using a 14mm wrench and socket. Retain your factory hardware. For step 5, use the same 14mm wrench and socket to remove the bolt from the top of the shock. Once removed, you can take off this entire control arm assembly and be sure to retain your hardware for reinstallation. Step 6 is where the fun begins. You'll be attaching your TREX main suspension assembly to the front of your golf cart. To do so, you'll use a floor jack to lift it up and mock it into place. Once the main suspension assembly is in place, use the supplied U-bolts to loosely fasten it to the frame of your cart. Once your U-bolts are loosely fastened, you can now lower the floor jack to begin step 7. Step 7, you'll attach the rest of your front lift assembly with the supplied hardware and a 17mm socket. With the front end of your lift now secure, you can now finish tightening the U-bolts. Step 8 is to attach your new A-arms using the hardware retained from step 5 and a 14mm socket wrench. Ensure that the angled portion of the A-arm is facing the front of the cart. A rubber mallet and some aerosol lubricant can really help in this step. At this point in the installation, grease all of the fittings in the upper and lower A-arms. Step 9 is attaching your spindles, but before you do, make sure that only a 1/4 inch of thread is showing on your heim joint. Continuing step 9, you'll attach your spindles to your main suspension assembly and upper A-arms using the supplied Allen head cap screws. Make sure you have clearance for your Allen head cap screw by loosening this 3mm hex nut if needed. During this step, use the supplied thread locking adhesive on your Allen head cap screws. Step 10, you'll attach your new shock to your upper A-arm using the supplied hardware and a 16mm socket wrench, and reattach your steering linkage to your new spindle. Install your new shock by extending it into the cart shock mount and reinstall the retained hardware. To make this step easier, you can loosen the bolt at the bottom of the shock. Step 12 is to reattach your hubs and dust covers using your factory retained hardware. Once your hubs are secure, you can install your new lifted wheels and tires and lower your cart back down to the floor. To finish the front end of your lift, reinstall the factory front bumper. With the front end complete, it's time to move to the rear end of your golf cart. Step 13, you're going to chock your front wheels, break the lug nuts loose, and raise the rear of your cart onto jack stands. Once the jack stands are secured, you're going to leave the floor jack under the motor for the rest of the install. Step 14 is to remove your motor cover and retain your plastic hardware. Step 15 is to remove the bolts from the top of your shocks using a 14mm socket. Do this for both sides. Step 16 will be installing our rear mounting bracket using the retained hardware from step 15. You'll want to make sure that the angled portion is towards the front of the cart. Step 17 is to reattach the top of your shock into your new mounting bracket using the supplied hardware and a 17mm socket. Step 18 is to remove the left bolt out of your bag well using a 10mm socket. Once removed, use a 7/16 drill bit to pilot a hole all the way through your frame. Be sure to drill straight down through the frame. Step 19 is to remove your factory bolt from your sway bar using a 17mm socket and wrench. Step 20 is to attach your new sway bar bracket to your factory sway bar bracket using the supplied hardware. Step 21 is to use your remaining long bolt and go through the hole that we already piloted through our bag well. You'll attach this to your new sway bar bracket. Step 22 is to reattach your sway bar to your new sway bar bracket and tighten all hardware. Step 23 is the final step in our installation. We will be trimming back the factory side skirt to allow for the largest wheel and tire fitment. Be sure to wear safety goggles to protect your eyes. Put on your new wheels and tires, lower your floor jack, and enjoy your new TREX HD A-arm lift kit. Before driving on your new TREX lift kit, it is incredibly important to align your cart properly to avoid rollover risk. Thank you for choosing TREX Golf Cart Accessories.
Action!
Turn the fan off!